Hi, everybody. Welcome to Why Ukraine? Smack dab in the middle of Ukraine, if you can't tell by my Soviet-style wardrobe back there. And, well, that's the garden. If you're interested, maybe someday I'll show you. Yeah, so this is a little bit of an early edition. Huge news today. The headline that I'm going to make for this is Russia announces withdrawal from Crimea. Now, you might be surprised about that because you might think, what are you talking about, James? That hasn't happened yet. But that's exactly what happened. And let me explain why. The Nova Kakhovka Dam. Yeah, that just got blown up. If you didn't know, that's why I'm doing the early edition of this today. Nova Kakhovka Dam, just to put it in perspective for you, it's this dam right here. It holds back the largest river on in Ukrainian territory. It's the battle line for about half of the or a third of the war. This lake goes all the way back here, all the way up to Zaporizhia. And I've been on this river many times, and I've seen the different dams on here. The volume of water is about the size of the Great Salt Lake in Utah. That's the volume of water that we're dealing with here. It's a huge freaking lake, and that's the volume of water that's going to come rushing down through this area right here. It's crazy. Now, why is that fact an announcement? An announcement that the Russians are giving up Crimea. Well, what's right here? What's this? This is a canal. This is the dam that was blown up this morning, about 2 o'clock this morning. This is the canal. And this canal goes where? All the way down here to Crimea. A lot of this war is happening over water, just like many wars have and continue to happen. Crimea is basically an island. It has this tiny little peninsula. It has almost no sources of fresh water. When the Crimean Peninsula, as it's called, was cut off by the Ukrainians from this canal in, I believe, 2017. Something like 60% of farms in Crimea just went away, just gone. The Russians know that they will not have enough water for their population, so they basically announced it. They're like, yeah, we're giving up. On top of that, let's take a look. One of my Ukrainian fellow Ukrainian students here sent me this neat little picture. So this is the area that is mostly going to be flooded at the maximum by this dam, and is probably being flooded right now. It's going to take hours. It's going to take at least 3 days for all the flood waters to drain. All the red spots that you see here, guess what those are? Those are Russian positions. That's where the Russians are. Okay, they are going to be forced to withdraw on them. They're or die, or get flooded. There's all of this equipment in this area. I guarantee you, if we look at it on Google Maps, this is difficult terrain to move through. It's sand dunes. There's a lot of little villages here. There's very few, good usable roads. There's going to be a lot of flooded tanks and military vehicles and encampments and everything else that they have put in place here. And they've basically decided to retreat, or as they say, a goodwill gesture. It accomplishes nothing for them. It's sadly something like 80 small cities and villages are going to have to be evacuated on the Russian side. Are they going to do that? Have they even warned people? Like, let's take a look at, here is an estimate. Let me see. Oh yeah, here, this is from 8 months ago. Nice little zoom in. So nice 3D. This is from the Daily Cause, which I never read the Daily Cause, but so here's a 3D depiction of this. So you can see the hydroelectric dam is up here at the top, and it's kind of this big floodplain. 200 years ago, this was regularly flooded. That's why nobody wanted to build on this land. That's why there are all these sand dunes here. It was basically a river delta. That's why, luckily, there's not that many cities. Kherson is on these high bluffs. These are on the left-hand side of the picture, which is the north side of the river, or what they call the right bank, because here in Ukraine, they think about rivers in the direction that they're flowing. So you're looking down the river, that you're looking down the direction of the river as it's flowing. The right bank would be over here, so I'd be turned around on this map, and the left bank is on the right side of the picture. The right bank is on the left side. Anyway, the Ukrainian side is all on these higher positions. It's the Russians literally cut their nose off to spite their face here. Honestly, it's stupid with a capital stew again, and it's not like they didn't know about it. Look here, this is a Russian occupation Twitter, Russian propaganda Twitter, and they knew about this. They posted about it. This was in October of last year. They knew what was going to happen. There we go. There we go. There's a nice little animation of it. They knew. So, like, why? Why? So dumb. A new level of stupidity. That's all I can say. It's awful. It's horrible. Here's even the more stupid part. What I just found out from a Ukrainian here, there are reports are indicating that, and this kind of makes sense, that the Russians did not intend to actually blow up the dam. That what they wanted to do was disable the Ukrainians from getting over the dam. So if you can see from this picture here, I can't zoom this in. Maybe I can. There we go. What you can see from this picture here is they just blew up part of the railway, and I guess the road going over the dam to stop tanks from coming over. But look where they did it. They did it in the stupidest part, absolute dumbest part of the dam, in the main center, right in the middle. That's where the most pressure is coming down from the size of the Great Salt Lake of water. I believe something I read, 20 square kilometers or cubic kilometers. I don't know, a lot of freaking water. What is that in miles? It's a lot. Okay. Basically the biggest lake in the Western United States. And here it is coming down. Craziness. Absolute madness. So like they didn't realize it. So let's just take another look here. I don't actually have pictures of the Ukrainian strike on the dam. But let's go to the dam, because I want to show you where the Ukrainians hit the dam like last year. Because you'll remember that a year ago, Russia controlled this north side of the river, and the Ukrainians were trying to prevent Russians from bringing more tanks over to this side of the river, the north side or the right bank of the river. So the Ukrainians struck the dam. They struck the dam with high precision, I believe, Western missiles. They hit this part of the dam right here. This is like a river lock for boats that want to travel up the river. Okay. They use precision strikes to knock out this exact spot on the Novakhovka Dam, not here. The Russians did it here, right in the middle, the worst possible place. What the hell? Just the stupidity, it's painful. It's painful. A lot of things are painful in this war. And now we're seeing, you know, I'm from California. Of course, you know, we have flooding there, and you guys, people in all over the United States, I know, have to deal with flooding, so you know what this looks like. It's not a giant wall of water. It's going to cause, it's not going to, you know, maybe it'll kill some people. I hope not. It's going to cause slowly rising waters. I'm reading something like 3 feet of water in some places. It'll destroy a lot of homes. A lot of these homes are made of concrete, though, so the destruction is not going to be that bad. It can be repaired. You know, as long as you can clean out the mold and stuff, the house is not going to be knocked down. So again, they really just cut off their nose to spite their face. But the Russians have done this before. The Russians have done this before. In 1941, they blew up another major dam on the Dnipro, and that's the one, just for a point of reference, that's the one further up the river in Zaporizhia, and this is the one that I've actually been to. It's right here. Now they have since rebuilt it, obviously, but it holds back a massive, you know, lake of water going all the way up. But here's the crazy thing. Look at this article. You can look up other sources for this. It's not just Radio Free Europe. There's a Wikipedia article about this if you want to read it. Between 20 and 100,000 civilians and Russian Soviet troops in Ukraine were killed by this flooding. Like, from 20,000 to 100,000, they don't even know how many. No records were kept, but just based on the estimated number of people living in the floodplain who were not evacuated at all or even warned, and troops. They just said, yeah, we're just gonna, you know, we're just gonna do that. So that just shows you what the mentality is. It's really just shocking. So that's what I've got for you right now. Apparently it looks like they're saying 16,000 people are in this disaster area. The other thing that's going to happen that we need to talk about, that's going to be really an issue after this, is the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. Because, as you must know, so this lake, remember the size of the Great Salt Lake, goes all the way back here, and here is the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, largest nuclear power plant in Europe. Okay, and what does it use to cool? What's the cooling come from? It comes from the freaking water. Let's see, I need to zoom in. Yeah, here we go. This is the power plant. It comes from the water from the river. Once this lake drains, guess what? That power plant won't have cooling. That can happen anytime between 3 days and 2 weeks. This is why Zelensky called an emergency meeting this morning. I hope to God they have a plan for this, because this is going to affect me most certainly, and it's going to affect all of Europe and, in fact, the whole world. This could be the worst nuclear disaster in the history of mankind. I understand there's a lot of pro-nuclear people, you know, nuclear power people out there, but this shit keeps happening. You know, Fukushima and just Chernobyl and all these other nuclear plants, 3 Mile Island. It's clear that we're not responsible enough to have toys like this. Okay, so, you know, are the Russians going to be able to stay there when this nuclear power plant goes? No, they're not. Luckily, you know, I had some friends in Nikopol who have now left, and I think we're going to see a lot of, there's going to be a massive refugee exodus from this area around Enerhodar in the next few weeks on both the Russian and the Ukrainian side. There's going to be a massive number of refugees. 80 cities, 80 villages are going to have to be evacuated like in the next 48 hours. The Russians have caused this humanitarian crisis, and they need to be absolutely condemned. Thank you for watching. I'm going to come back with more actual news that you actually didn't get. I just wanted to give you this perspective. Slava Ukraine.